So in this movie, we're going to look at the for each loop, which is a way to traverse through the elements in an array list. Now just a reminder why array lists are important in Java. Humans love to organize information in lists, right? These 5 screenshots of web pages illustrate that. A list of books that Amazon gives back when you do a search. A list of photographs in iPhoto. A list of movies in YouTube. A list of web pages from Google. And a list of music in a music collection. So lists are really important as a way to organize information. Therefore, any programming language is going to have a number of ways of dealing with lists. Now, I'll sometimes refer to lists as collections. Collections is a more generic, broader term which encompasses lists. So lists are really a subset of the collection class. So sometimes I'll use collection, sometimes I'll use list, but I think you'll pick up on what I mean. Okay, hope so anyway. Not, just interrupt me and I'll repeat it. Okay, so now we're looking at the for each loop. Now the reason this is called the for each loop, well, the for part of it's pretty obvious, right? The each part of it comes from the nature of this loop, which basically goes through each element in the collection or list, right? So for each element of the collection, the variable that you supply, in this case word, right, and that variable has to be of the type that makes up the collection. So this is a collection of strings. So at any rate, that variable will, for each of the elements in the collection, that variable, here's the collection words, that variable will, one at a time in sequence, be reference that element, right? So we'll first reference cat, and I can illustrate that here, right? And after the loop body is executed, and its output, in this case, cat, right? And we come back and we move word along to the next element in the collection. So we'll move that arrow over, right? And so on. Word just moves through every element in the collection one at a time. Okay, and that's pretty much it for the for loop, which is why students tend to like it, because it's very straightforward, very simple, and it's great for situations when you want to go through all the elements and do something to all the elements in a collection, right? For each and every one of them, you want to go through and do something to them. In this case, print them. In other cases, something else. Okay? So that's it for the for each loop. This little guy right here represents an iterator, and we'll get to what that is in the next video when we look at other ways to traverse through the elements of an array list. I guess it's worth noting that behind the scenes, right, behind the curtain, Java uses an iterator object to keep track of where it is within the collection as it uses as the for each loop traverses through the collection. So, you don't need to worry about this, but every time you get to the end of the loop, Java basically moves that guy over one, right? And then over one, like that. Oops. And so on, right? Roughly corresponding to the arrows that I showed before. Okay? So that represents an iterator object, and we'll be doing much more with iterators as time goes on. But this is the for each loop in array lists.